Imagine you're making chicken broth. You have this amazing chicken, and you've been slow cooking it all day on the stovetop in a pot. 4 to 6 hours, you've been really trying to suck every bit of flavor out of that chicken so that it imbues into that water and creates the most flavorful, delicious broth. Because as we know, the higher the concentration of chicken flavor, the more delicious the stock becomes. And this is a topic of concentration, of quality. Now imagine, after that 6th hour, you take it off. It's so flavorful, it's so rich. And then you take a big thing of water and you dump it in. That's called diluting. You're diluting the broth. You're making it less flavorful. You're taking something that you worked so hard on, and now you're diluting it. You're making it less flavorful. And that's exactly what's happened with the MCU. The MCU, when it first started, it was cooking. They were redefining what superhero movies could be. They were making them tie into each other. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of jokes, but it was a good time at the theater. You knew you were going to the theater to have a great time, to be captivated, to laugh. You could take the family, and you knew that there was going to be a good story on screen. There was heart. I'm thinking of Iron Man. I'm thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm thinking of Captain America. I'm thinking of pretty much all of the Phase 1 movies were building towards something. Then we got the Phase 2. It started to really ramp up and build towards Infinity War and Endgame. Infinity War and Endgame were incredible pop culture experiences. We had 22 movies, I believe, leading up to Infinity War. Then we get Infinity War. Then we get Endgame. And it's a phenomenon amongst pop culture. I mean, everyone and their mother went to the theater to go see these movies. They gross so much money worldwide. I mean, this was an experience. And then after that, the MCU didn't really know where to go. So instead of taking their time and being smart and being methodical, what did they do? They said, hey, we're going to take a bunch of water. I know we've been slow cooking this broth. We're going to take a bunch of water and just dump it in, because the quality of the broth isn't as important as the quantity of the broth. See, Disney, they created Disney Plus, and they needed stuff to put on their streaming platform. So instead of taking their time and building this really well-curated selection of shows that they really meticulously have been trying to make as good as possible, they just said, let's pump it out, because people love MCU. People are gonna watch MCU. They're going to subscribe to Disney Plus to see these shows. And it all started with WandaVision. And WandaVision wasn't bad. It was okay. And the naivety in me said, oh, well, they're only gonna learn from this and get better and better. Wrong. The quality of the shows kept going down and down and down to the point where I stopped watching the shows because they were so bad. So absolutely bad. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was terrible. I mean, really terrible. They didn't even think out what was going on. And a big part of the issue is they dump so much money into these things. There's reshoots and there's poor planning, and they're kind of scrambling at the last minute to get stuff out on deadlines, and it creates this makeshift final product that is low in quality. Now, people are always going to enjoy whatever slop is thrown in front of them, and that's their right to do so. Who am I to condemn them or judge them? But just from a personal perspective, Falcon the Winter Soldier was so dog shit terrible that I was like, whoa, I cannot watch any more of this. I gave Loki a chance. It was fine. Probably one of the better shows because Tom Hiddleston's so great as Loki. But the issue with that show is Loki gave his life in the effort to defeat Thanos. And that was beautiful because Loki, who was a villain himself, he was the antagonist in the first Avengers film, he made the ultimate sacrifice because he had that full character arc development where now he's ready to be the good guy. He made the ultimate good guy sacrifice, and he died in the hands of Thanos. But of course, because he's a fan favorite and because Disney Plus needed money, they made a Loki show, which essentially undid the sacrifice that Loki made, which is just like, ah! And it's similar, funny enough, to how they brought Emperor Palpatine back in Star Wars, the third movie, whatever the hell that's called, the Last Skywalker or some shit. They undid Darth Vader's sacrifice by doing that. And it's so funny to me that Disney spent all these billions on these IPs, and they don't even understand the IP that they are manufacturing, that they are making, that they are producing. They don't even get it on a simple story level, that when you bring Emperor Palpatine back, you undo the ultimate sacrifice that Darth Vader made, which removes gravity from that sacrifice. Same thing with this, with the multiverse. It's like, I'm so tired of the multiverse. The multiverse has been the number one most damning thing to the MCU. Sure, they made so much money with that Spider-Man film, No Way Home. But at what cost? Because they've lost so much money on the subsequent films. Because people are just tired of the multiverse bullshit. Like, ground your stories. It's such a cop-out to have a multiverse because you can just bring this guy back or undo this. I won't be surprised if they bring Black Widow back, which will undo her sacrifice in Endgame. And it's like, just stop with the multiverse bullshit. We don't like it. What If was kind of cool. I mean, I like anthological series, so I kind of dug what they were doing with that, but it got old fast. It's like, okay, cool. Like, all right, I'm already tired of this. It's, what if this happened? What if that happened? It's cool, but it gets old quick. And then Moon Knight, it was whatever. Hawkeye, it was mid. And then She-Hulk.
Oh my god, my eyes.
And I couldn't even make it past one episode of She-Hulk without saying, I'm done. This is so bad. They're ruining the Hulk. The Hulk is a core of Marvel. He is a pillar of Marvel. Without him, the house that Marvel built would collapse. And in an effort to try to boost up She-Hulk, they tore down Hulk, saying that he doesn't know what it's like to make real sacrifices the way that She-Hulk does, or he doesn't know what it's like to have hardship or be a victim. It's like, no, stop besmudging characters that built your company in the effort to build characters that you want to sell. It is so in poor taste, and real MCU fans, I'm not the biggest comic fan, but I love the MCU. I went and saw all of the Marvel movies that led up to Infinity War and Endgame. I was there opening night for Infinity War and Endgame. I was hooked on MCU. I loved it. But because they refused to stop dumping water into the broth that they slowly built, they are completely ruining their product. And it almost feels irreversible, because I watched Thunderbolts recently, and Thunderbolts was actually, to my surprise, a really good movie. Not just a really good superhero movie. It was a really good MCU movie, but it was a good movie. It had mature themes that handled maturely. It didn't interrupt serious moments with jokes. All the humor that they did incorporate all really hit, and it all felt earned, and it felt like I actually could buy into what was happening on screen. Thunderbolts was a good movie, and I actually really enjoyed my time watching it. But MCU movies haven't been good in a long time. The last good MCU movie was Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I kind of consider that its own thing because James Gunn had such a hand on the pulse of that trilogy that I can't really even consider that true MCU trilogy, because James Gunn was so heavily involved in all three of those movies. But that was the last MCU movie that I was really excited about leaving the theater. I was like, that was a great movie. And Thunderbolts gave me the same experience. I kind of wish I saw it in theaters because it was that fun. But my last straw with paying hard-earned money and spending personal time on an MCU movie was Quantumania. I went and saw Quantumania. Some of my buddies were like, hey, we're going to see Quantumania. We should go see it. It could be a good time. I went and saw that, and that was one of the worst theater experiences I've ever had. I've never wanted to get up and leave in the middle of a movie, really, but that was one that I really wanted to get up and leave. The only reason I didn't was because I was like, well, I already made it like halfway through this thing. I might as well just see maybe if it picks up, if it gets better. And it did not. It was terrible. It was awful. and I hated my life that night. But this is how MCU has destroyed itself. It's not superhero fatigue, because if you make good movies, people will go and see them. And movies like Thunderbolts will get people back in the theater. But you need to be consistent. You need to pick your projects methodically, and you need to take time. Take time producing them. Hire good writers. Let them write for 2 years. Produce it for a year. Make sure that all the effects, all of the special effects have enough time to actually be created properly. Make sure the editing process is done. I mean, a great superhero movie really is like a 3 or 4 year project, but they're just pumping them out. I mean, this year alone, we've already seen 2 Marvel movies. We saw Captain America, which should have just been Falcon, because Falcon's a great character. Why do you got to try to make him Captain America? There already was Captain America, but that's a whole nother story. And then the Thunderbolts, which unfortunately, because of the bad taste people have in their mouth, didn't go see Thunderbolts really. But that's the one that they probably should have. Hopefully word of mouth picks up. Hopefully MCU and Disney learn. Kevin Feige learns. Maybe it's Kevin Feige's time to step away. But this is how the MCU has destroyed itself. And hopefully they get it together, because I enjoyed MCU in its prime, and maybe one day it'll be back, but for now they need to stop pumping out stuff, take their time, and that's the only way to save the MCU. What do you guys think about the MCU? Have you enjoyed any projects lately? Leave me a like if you liked my video, leave me a comment, I'd love to talk to you, and subscribe to my channel if you love movies. That's all I got for you guys. Stay out.